The Ring 2 is an evil little girl horror movie sequel. So, this movie is about the evil little girl from these tapes. Well, at the end of one, if you remember, basically they survive, the mom and the son, and to get rid of the curse, they're now making these tapes, these copies, to, I guess you could say, cure themselves? I don't know what you'd call it, but basically to get rid of this evil little girl. And we actually start following these different people. It is this young man, and he's basically flirting with this girl. And yeah, as just more things start happening between them, you're like, okay. Because he's like, hey, come to my house and let's, do some stuff. And then they get to his house, and then he's like, actually, it's kind of late. You know what you should do for me? Watch this video. I hear it's one of the scariest videos ever made. And then you're like, okay, this dude's definitely seen the tape. And now he's trying to get this girl who don't know shit about this shit to watch this tape. And yeah, unfortunately, things happen with that. Not gonna spoil the beginning though. But yeah, that's exactly how I thought this movie was gonna start, as just these people now have to deal with the consequences of these copies. And then they also say something like, there's dialogue to mention that there's a bunch of copies. So I was pretty excited. And then unfortunately it cuts back to our two main characters from the first movie, the mom and the boy. Yeah, and now they're somewhere else. They moved. And yeah, now they just are in this new location. Well, the mom ends up getting, word of this tape, and she goes and burns it and destroys it because she feels like it's her responsibility because, her past and all of the shit she did. She is kind of the one that made copies and unleashed the little girl. And, yeah, so she burns it, and then from there, basically, the movie just kind of takes a little twist for me. But now her and her son have to deal with this evil little girl, but it's like they don't even have to watch the videotape no more. Probably because they're intertwined with her or something, I'm not sure. But nonetheless, this little girl is out for the little boy. She wants to basically become the little boy, Pinocchio. And yeah, just the rest of the movie is just the mom dealing with this little girl, evil little girl trying to take over her son. Yep. So that's about it. My review to The Ring 2. And first off, this movie ended really well. Not this one, but the first Ring ended really well. Where like sets up for this movie, and I was super excited. And then the movie starts and is doing exactly what I thought it was going to do by basically having the story about these copies, and you're following different people, and it's a bunch of them. And then it was really good because this boy in the beginning of this movie is trying to trick somebody into watching the movie, and it's just like, it was good. I really liked that. And then they burn the tape, the mom does, and the whole movie just 180s. It has nothing to do about anybody else watching the tape, and now it's all about this little girl trying to possess this boy to become real. And personally, that completely ruined the whole movie for me. They went with one story, and then like 35 minutes into the movie, they decided to scrap that storyline and do this different storyline, which the storyline wasn't that bad. This movie was good, but that other storyline was so much better. And I'll talk more about why it was so much better here in a little bit. But yeah, just I would 100% just had this whole movie focus on just those characters from the beginning of the movie is so much more interesting. That's exactly what I thought this movie was going to be about. I was hype as hell for it, and then it happened, but then they just kind of got rid of that storyline like 35 minutes into the movie to do this, because it didn't even make sense. Now they don't even have to watch the tape. The little girl is only killing people if they watch the tape, but for some reason these people, you don't have to watch the tape. It's just a lot of shit that didn't really make sense with that. I just feel like it was just downhill after they burnt the tape. I mean, it was still a good movie, but the writing was not there for me with that. Yeah, so the acting was pretty good, the production was pretty good, the directing was pretty good, but as a director, I would have honestly just looked at the script and been like, yeah, we gotta change this, because what's happening, but I'm not even sure who could say that. So I'm not sure. Because the Writers Guild and all that, and you need a script. So, but yeah, it's definitely just the writing that was shit. Everything was good. There was some really good parts in this movie, like when the boys in the bathtub and all the water on the ceiling, or like when at the very end when she ends up going into the TV and it's that well. The whole well part was really well done, honestly. But when she's out of the well, finally gets out of it and closes it, and you just see the trees and the well and how it looks, that was like an insanely good shot. The CGI on this movie did absolutely not hold up. That is the big risk of CGI. Your movie will look absolutely stupid when because like you have this bad CGI for absolutely no reason, and then I'm watching this in 2024, and I mean, those deer were horrible. That was just so bad. The deer part was just so bad. That did not hold up at all. There was some good things about this movie, though, but in the long run, it was not a lot of good stuff about this movie. The first one was just way, way better. And honestly, it is just because they switched back to the main characters from the first movie and followed their little story and scrapped the story that they started this movie on. And I mean, the end of one starts up this movie. I mean, that was what everybody was excited for, I thought. That's what I was excited for. So, my recommendation for The Ring 2, and I'm just going to get to it. I kind of recommend this. Was not really happy with the direction this went. But in my next review, I'm doing a movie called The Rings Full Circle. And I'll talk more about why I feel like my opinion on the matter is right. Because it's just an opinion. But yeah, I'll talk more about it in there. So if you're interested, follow that. Go watch that. Kind of recommend.